Xin quý vị hãy cho cháu một tràng vỗ tay. Đây là thế hệ thứ 3 con cháu của chúng ta. Đây là sự lo lắng. Nhưng sự lo lắng này chúng ta đặt niềm hy vọng với các thế hệ tiếp nối.
Why do I care about a painful and contentious conflict that ended 49 years ago, the fall of Saigon? Conventional wisdom would say, forget it, move on, why bother? I challenge that view, and I think a good place to start is when and where it all ended. Why is April 30th important to me? Or in other words, is April 30th a day to remember or a day to forget? Is it worth? Well, it is. It is worth all the struggle to commemorate those who gave their lives and limbs in defense of a freer and more prosperous Vietnam, free of the choking yoke of the Communist Party. So I sat down and I asked myself, who am I? Where did I come from? And I sought answers in the classroom, from wider society and from my parents, my grandfather, and my close relatives. I learned about my family's experiences as refugees. I learned about how they were at the mercy of thunderous waves and the heat of the unbearable sun. I learned about my grandfather's imprisonment in a communist re-education camp and how whenever they gave him the dignity of a shower, he had to clean himself with only 1 cup of water. Most important, I learned about myself and how I had a desire to know and understand why I am here, standing before you in the United States of America. April 30th is a day of profound loss and remembrance for the Vietnamese diaspora scattered across the globe, but it is also a day of new beginning, as it started a new chapter in the lives of those who fled communism in search of a better future and of their descendants. I wouldn't be here without that fateful day. To first explain why the chaos and the precipitous fall of April 30th was so dramatic, let's recall the mass graves at Hue. After the 1968 Tet Offensive, the communist VC perpetrated widespread massacres of thousands. The fear of that bloodbath convulsed through the South Vietnamese as the end approached in 1975. Second, just look at what happened after the fall of Saigon to the invading North Vietnamese army. The communists sent anyone with ties to the previous administration to re-education camps. The communist policies subjected all the civilians to mass starvation. The results speak for themselves. The new regime would wanted nothing less than the complete and total restructuring of society. To add insult to injury, the South Vietnamese capital of Saigon itself was stripped of its centuries-old historical name. Lastly, and most importantly, is the mass exodus of the Vietnamese boat people from the communists between 1975 and 1995. They fled in terror from communism, from the revolution. Around 800,000 refugees fled and resettled in other countries. Another 200,000 to 400,000 died on the open seas to starvation, disease, storms, and pirates. This is the gravest condemnation of communism succeeding in Vietnam. Today, we thank all service members in the Army of the Republic of Vietnam, in the U.S. Armed Forces, and all other allied countries who fought and died to preserve liberty and justice. We will never forget and always will be indebted to your sacrifice. Today, I stand before you as a third-generation descendant of refugees from Vietnam, and I am proud of my Vietnamese heritage with all of its cultural traditions. I celebrate my Vietnamese heritage in this land of opportunity. We have freedom from communist tyranny, the freedom to raise families and give back to the American society that has been so generous and given so much to us. This day, April 30th, is important. This is why we remember. Thank you.
Xin tất cả quý vị cho cháu Miss Việt Nam và